The Nifty closes at fresh record high despite giving up gains in today's second trading session. Metals and consumer durables lead the way while banks underperform. BJP releases the first list of 195 candidates for the Lok Sabha elections. 28 women and 47 youth will contest in the first list. The list features 28 women candidates, 47 youth, 27 from scheduled castes and 18 from scheduled tribes and 57 from OBCs. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will contest from Varanasi for the third time. Google reinstates some of the Indian applications that got delisted from the Play Store yesterday after the government strongly opposed the tech giant's action. Google has reinstated apps like Naukri, 99 Acres, Matrimony app and Shadi.com after the government's intervention. Karnataka Chief Minister Sitaramaiah says a low-intensity improvised explosive device caused the blast at the popular Rameshwaram cafe in Bengaluru last afternoon. Investigations remain underway with CCTV footage showing an unidentified individual leaving a bag at the restaurant. The first day of Anant-Ambani and Radhika Merchant's pre-wedding celebration sees Mukesh Ambani welcome guests featuring world leaders and the who's who of business, sports and Bollywood. Meta's Mark Zuckerberg, Microsoft founder Bill Gates and Prime Minister of Qatar all attend as Rihanna steals the show with an electrifying performance. Well, let's begin with the top story this evening. As the nation gears up for Lok Sabha elections later this year, BJP has announced the first list of candidates that will compete to determine a possible third term at governance. Now, the first list of 195 candidates include 28 women and 47 youth candidates. It also includes 27 from SC, 18 ST candidates. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to contest, meanwhile, from Varanasi for the third time, while Home Minister Amit Shah will contest from Gandhinagar. Meanwhile, Rajiv Chandrasekhar will compete from Trivandrum. The seat is currently held by Congress MP Shashi Tharoor. Former Madhya Pradesh CM and BJP leader Shivraj Singh Chauhan will compete from Vidisha constituency. Jyotiraditya Scindia will contest from Guna, as well as Om Birla will contest from Kota. Now, so far, 5 seats have been allotted from Delhi, 2 from Jammu and Kashmir, 11 seats from Chhattisgarh, 3 seats from Uttarakhand and 11 seats from Jharkhand. Out of the 7 seats from Delhi, 5 have been filled. 1 has been allotted to Basari Swaraj, who is the daughter of late Sushma Swaraj. Kamaljeet Shrawat, Rambir Singh Biduri, Praveen Khandelwal and Manoj Tiwari. The party, meanwhile, is aiming to win over 400 seats in the Lok Sabha year's elections. Well, moving ahead, the big story that we have been tracking, that's day 2 of Anant-Ambani and Radhika Merchant's pre-wedding celebrations. It's currently underway. The latest one to join the celebrations is Adani Group's chairman, Gautam Adani, who has reached Jamnagar along with his wife. The second day of celebrations is themed a walk on the wild side, where guests have been instructed to dress up in jungle fever attire and will begin with a visit to the Ambani family's Animal Rescue and Rehabilitation Center. The other theme for the night is going to be Mela Rouge. The Ambani family welcomed celebrities, business tycoons and world leaders to the 3-day bash, which is being held ahead of Anant-Ambani and Radhika Merchant's wedding later this year. The guest list features some of the biggest leaders and bigwigs across the world of sports, industry and politics. Mukesh Ambani, in his welcome speech, also marked the importance of the event being held in Jamnagar and said that his son's "nothing is impossible" attitude also reminded him of his father, Dhirubhai Ambani.
Today, my father, Dhirubhai, is also showering his profuse blessings from high up in the heavens. I'm sure he's doubly happy because we are celebrating this joyous day in the life of his favorite grandson, Anant, in Jamnagar. Whenever I see Anant, I see my father Dhirubhai in him. His same can-do, will-do, nothing is impossible attitude.
Well, meanwhile, in an emotional speech by Neeta Ambani, she welcomed Radhika into the family and also praised Anant Ambani for his efforts and love for animals. Listen in.
When I first met Radhika, I knew that Anant has found his soulmate, his perfect companion. And I found another daughter who shares my love for dance and, of course, my love for my son. Radhika, we welcome you with open hearts and arms as a Ambani Beti. You are not just Anant's partner, but a cherished daughter, sister, Masi, Kaki, Mami, and the light of all our lives. When we were building the enclosures at Vantara, we did not know how to go about it. Anant did his research, got into details, learned CAD/CAM, and he himself designed the rescue center that you will all visit tomorrow. Not just the animals, his knowledge of our sacred Hindu scriptures, the Vedas, continues to inspire me. He just doesn't read them, he applies them and lives by them. His gentle demeanor hides his strong iron will. His grand passions are backed by his endless patience and hard work. Anant, as Papu says, your name means infinite, and you are truly infinite.
Well, with that, we're slipping into a very short break. But up next on the other side, we get you lots more news and updates on the other side. Welcome back to CNBC TV18. Now, Google has reinstated some of the Indian applications that got delisted yesterday from the Play Store. Now, this was done after the government strongly opposed the tech giant's actions. The government stepped in to resolve the dispute by calling a meeting and following the intervention. Google has reinstated some applications such as Naukri, 99 Acres, Matrimonies, Shadi.com was also back on the Play Store. Now, the IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav, in an interview with PTI, said, and I quote here, the government takes strong view of Google delisting some applications from Play Store. We will not allow delisting of applications, unquote. Well, on to some other national news. The 13th Ministerial Conference of the World Trade Organization in Abu Dhabi concluded without a decision on permanent solution for public stock holding of food. The conference also failed to reach a consensus on fishery subsidies. However, the WTO did extend the moratorium on e-commerce transmissions by 2 years. My colleague Abhimanyu Sharma is joining us now with a quick list of all the big takeaways. Abhimanyu.
The WTO's 13th Ministerial Conference in Abu Dhabi finally witnessed a draft ministerial declaration which may seem plain at the outset but carries important messages and a promise for the future. Issues like public stock holding and fisheries did not really feature in the draft declaration. India, of course, had sought defense for both of these issues as far as public stock holding is concerned in view of the MSP regime which is in place in India. India was vociferously batting for the same. There was no mention in the declaration. India had asked for implementation of the declaration at WTO around 11 years back, but there was no mention. As far as fisheries is concerned, India continued to maintain its stance along with several other developing countries that there should be a distinction between developed countries and developing countries. India had also highlighted the fact that India's fishermen, most of them are small fishermen, and industrial fishing is hardly carried out in India's waters. India had also batted for an exclusive economic zone as far as fishing is concerned. Also, India had opposed the inclusion of non-trade issues like inclusion of women as well as investment facilitation for development, which was being pushed by several countries. That also did not feature in the final declaration. Also, importantly, the e-commerce moratorium on electronics transmissions has been extended for the next 2 years, which means that customs duty will continue to witness a moratorium moratorium. Now, that is something which was being batted for by developed countries, though India has said that this is not going to adversely impact India's interests in the long run. However, not just India, but many other developing countries are of the view that there should be a review in due course and possibly before the next ministerial. Another important issue continues to be the fact that there is an absence of a dispute settlement mechanism at the WTO, and the draft ministerial declaration did not explicitly speak about it, but India, as well as several other countries, continue to remain confident that in due course, before the next ministerial itself, all WTO members will continue to try and resolve the ongoing issue to ensure that there is a legal system in place to bring to book those countries, those WTO members which are not implementing the declarations of WTO in letter and spirit. So clearly, a ministerial document has come out, but it remains to be seen till what extent it's going to be followed and what exactly is going to follow in due course before the next ministerial 14.
Well, staying with action coming in from Abu Dhabi, Union Minister Piyush Goyal said that India successfully navigated through critical issues, safeguarding the interests of the nation's farmers and fishermen. At the 13th World Trade Organization, while speaking to CNBC-TV18's Abhimanyu Sharma, Piyush Goyal said that India will play a catalyst role at the WTO. Listen in.
I think it's a very satisfactory outcome. India has achieved all the objectives with which we had started discussions at the WTO. We would have been happy if we were able to get even more, but at no point of time did we allow any compromise on the interests of our farmers, any compromise on the interests of our fishermen. We go back very satisfied that all the current support that is provided to farmers and fishermen, and potentially any of the actions that the government would like to take to support them, is completely in our control and no restrictions have been placed on it.
While India has been successfully able to ensure that non-trade issues like women's participation or even IFD for that matter were successfully not included as a part of the final document, the moratorium on e-commerce transmissions, that of course was extended. How do you look at it? Is that going to be a shot in the arm for the Western countries or the lobby which was pitching for it? What are the takeaways for India and its industry?
First of all, we believe that there are several non-trade issues which have their own bodies in which they can be discussed. So if investment has to be discussed, it can be discussed in another body. If labor has to be discussed, we have the ILO. For environment, we have UNFCCC. So every subject has its own body in which it is discussed. We don't believe a WTO, which is a trade-related organization, should abrogate to itself all subjects. As regards the e-commerce moratorium, I think since the contours of the moratorium are not yet finalized, what is covered, what is not covered, how it will operate, or if taxes have to be imposed, how the transition will happen, it was in the interests of all, particularly Indian industry also involved with the e-commerce business in a big way, that we extend it for 2 years, give a good transition period, during which businesses and governments can engage and take a call on what their future course of action will be.
So my final question to you, of course, India and many other countries are also looking at a multilateral body's future and possibly a bright future. What kind of future do you envisage? Also, in the absence of a dispute settlement mechanism, what kind of ways can be looked at till the next ministerial, under which deliberations can continue for better understanding and integration of world economies?
Well, the WTO is a very important organization. It helps create rules-based trading systems. It brings order to international trade. And India is very committed to the success of the WTO. I am also very confident that going forward, it will continue to play an important role, particularly for less developed countries and developing nations. And India will play an important catalyst role to bring all sections, all different countries together in continuing to serve the interests of global trade.
Well, Piyush Goyal there speaking to CNBC-TV18 in Abu Dhabi. In news from back home, a terror attack rocked the popular Rameshwaram cafe in Bengaluru yesterday and injured at least 10 persons. Police and other officials are gathering information about the blast. Harish Upadhyay of CNN News 18 is joining us with more details. Harish.
The Bengaluru police have got some very specific leads in the Rameshwaram cafe blast case here in Bengaluru. The CCTV has captured the terror suspect taking a coupon, placing the explosive near the handbag, and at the same time, from the other CCTV, they have also realized that this man came from the Kundalli side, is seen walking towards the cafe and also getting out. Right now, the state government saying that he had used public transport, so that data is also being collected. In the meanwhile, the police also collecting the data from the nearby mobile phone towers and the calls that have gone from here. They've already spoken to multiple people. They're closely collaborating with the NIA, the Central Intelligence Bureau, the State Intelligence, to find out who this man was who has carried out this attack. In the meanwhile, 10 people have been injured. All of them are said to be out of danger. The Chief Minister has said that the police has been given a free hand to crack this case. A lot of politics already playing out on this issue, with the BJP demanding that the state government should immediately hand over this case to the NIA so that there could be rapid progress in the investigation and nabbing this culprit who's caused injury to 10 people and also to the reputation of Bengaluru.
Well, finally now to the day's market action. In today's special trading session, the Nifty closed at a record high despite giving up some gains in the second session of the day. The metals and the realty sector were the gainers, and stocks like Tata Steel, Hero MotoCorp, Tata Motors, Adani Ports, JSW Steel were the top Nifty 50 gainers. Well, speaking of the markets, even as the markets continue to scale new records, investor base in India has crossed the 9 crore mark as NSE added 1 crore new investors in only 5 months' time. Prashant Nair is joining us now with more details. Prashant.
This is data from the NSE. The total number of unique investor base in India is now crossed 9 crore, right? This is individual accounts with exchanges having crossed 9 crore. I mean, if you take the total lot of demat accounts across the country, that number, of course, was anyway about 14 crores or so, and that would have gone up even more. I think the number has reached about 16 crores or so. But unique users, right? That's now 9 crores, and the last 1 crore in terms of addition has come in just the last 5 months or so. So that is quite something. I mean, actually, if you look at it, this base, the investor base, has seen a 3x jump over the last 5 years. We've been talking about, financialization. Digitization, of course, is a big, big boost to this very sharp pace of people adapting to sort of, the online way to accessing markets, etc. And of course, markets have done very well. So they've brought in so many new people who see the markets as a way to make money. I just want to put out a table as well, which gives you a sense of, the pace actually picking up, right? So look at this. It took 9 months for the investor base to go up from 6 crore to 7 crore. It took 8 months for investor base to go from 7 to 8 crores. And it's only taken 5 months for this number to go from 8 crores to 9 crores. So the speed of people coming in is also increasing as the markets stay resilient. I mean, one feeds into the other. More people come in, there's more money into the market. Market doesn't see very much by way of dips. It stays higher. And of course, as it stays higher and markets do well, it attracts more and more people. So it's like a virtuous loop which has been at play.
Right, Prashant, thanks a lot for that. Now, the auto sales for the month of February showed a mixed bag. Sonia is here with a quick roundup of all those numbers.
Thanks a lot for that. It was a mixed bag for the auto sector this month around. So let's begin with the best performers, which is the two-wheeler space. All three two-wheeler companies have reported very strong sales this time. From Bajaj Auto, where we've seen a good export recovery, Hero MotoCorp reporting a double-digit growth, and TVS Motor reporting a strong growth on a year-on-year basis. Now, the big important point is that domestic sales have recovered in the two-wheeler market, especially in the rural areas, which is the reason for the improvement in consumer sentiment in names like Hero MotoCorp. Let's move on to the weakness in the commercial vehicle space. Both Tata Motors and Ashok Leyland reported a drop up in numbers this time. That's also because the last couple of months we've seen moderation in growth for the commercial vehicle sector. However, in the passenger vehicle sector, things have looked very good. All three companies, the frontliners, Tata Motors, M&M and Maruti have reported very good sales in the passenger vehicle segment, with Maruti reporting double-digit growth, M&M as well, growth has been good. In fact, M&M has been the best of the lot because of a strong growth in the SUV segment for M&M. So to summarize it, a mixed bag for the auto sector this time. Two pockets, commercial vehicles and tractors were under pressure, while on the flip side, passenger vehicles and two-wheelers did well.
Right, Sonia, thanks a lot for that. Let's go across now to Sonal, who's joining us with all the key events to watch for next week.
Well, next week is going to be truncated, but we do have a lot of events that we are watching out for. Let's start with what we are seeing or keeping on our radar for Monday. On the 4th of March, there's Investor Day for Bector's Food. On the 5th of March, in terms of domestic cues, there's EGM for Punjab National Bank. And in terms of global events, there's Caixin Services PMI in China. On the 6th of March, there's EGM for the likes of SMS Pharma, Vista Pharma, Balaji Telefilms, and dividend ex-date for Sharda Cropchem, DCM Shriram, and Marico as well. And in terms of global events to watch out for, the EU retail sales, which will give us a sense of consumption data there, will be out as well. On the 7th of March, there's EGM for Signity Tech, there's Orient Pro and UTI AMC as well. And CAMS, Sanofi and GMM Pfaudler will see dividend ex-date. In terms of global events, ECB interest rate decision will be something that we'll be watching out for closely. Now, 8th of March, it's a holiday. So, of course, the markets will not be live, but we do have some companies which will be putting out some of the updates. For instance, Oil India will consider second interim dividend for FY24, so an important stock to watch out for. And there's EGM for Patel Engineering. So these are some of the events for the next week.
Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of News Now. Stay tuned to CNBC TV18 for the latest news and updates.